Hi everybody. Please help me keep Greyhawk alive by liking this video and subscribing. It really does help. You can also become a member of the channel or support me on Patreon and get early access to my videos, exclusive content, free or at-cost copies of my Greyheim Adventures modules, and more. Thanks, and enjoy the show. So a while ago, I did a video on Celestian, the god of the stars, and today I want to cover Fharlanghn, his brother. Today on Greyhawk Grognard. So, Fharlanghn, he is a god that goes back to the original gold box. In fact, I believe he was in Dragon Magazine before that, when they did a whole series of gods. Um, Here is my well-worn copy of the Guide to Old Greyhawk, and Fharlanghn, the Dweller on the Horizon. He's a neutral god. He's a lesser god, god of horizons, distances, roads, and travel. Um, uh, they give a quick overview of what he looks like. He's a middle-sized man, brown leathery skin, bright green eyes, yada yada. Basically, he travels the world on roads and in the wildernesses and so forth. There are shrines to him along major roadways. His priesthood is divided into two. There's the urban priesthood and the pastoral priesthood. Um, the urban priesthood wears brown robes and are found in small chapels in communities, while the others wear green robes and minister by traveling the highways and byways, occasionally stopping at wayside shrines to Fharlanghn. Worshippers of Fharlanghn are most active in the central and southwest regions of the Flanaess. Followers of this deity are typically adventurers, merchants, itinerants, and the like. Services are often conducted outdoors under the sunny sky. It also talks about the Orth disc, which is a relic that Fharlanghn has. It will depict any area of the surface of the world. He looks at it, and all of a sudden it turns into like a little mini map of the region and then you can use it to teleport without error into that locale, which is really handy. It'll also shoot out a ray of light, um, which will temporarily blind people, or just a beam of light. Um, or something that, like a laser that can slice through any material, which is, it's a kind of a neat thing. And as they did in the gold box, um, usually the priests would have the gods would have a specialty priest class, sort of a variation on the standard cleric. That is not the case with Fharlanghn. His clerics don't get any special benefits, nor do they have to pay an extra 10% in their XP, which is, kind of makes up for it. But one of the interesting things I thought that's in the glossography entry for Fharlanghn is that I believe this was the first introduction of elementals other than the big four, because usually, there's air, earth, fire, water. This book talks about dust elementals and magma elementals and mud elementals, which are things that he can summon. Later on, those get turned into para elementals. So this is kind of foreshadowing where where Gygax's mind was going when it came to the elemental planes, is that it was just more than just the standard four elements. He was already thinking in terms of having these meta para elemental and quasi elemental planes at the merging points of them. So for example, the mud elemental is a 12 hit die earth elemental doing 3 to 18 points of damage, but also able to spread itself over an area of up to 400 square feet and slow creatures to half their normal movement. Which is, just they give little things like that. So it's not the fully developed mud para elemental that we see in the Monster Manual 2, but the idea is there, the germ of the idea is there, and I thought that was a really cool thing. In 3.0, he's covered in the deities and demigods. 3.5, he's covered in deities and demigods. Again, there's no specialty clerics mentioned there, which I think is par for the course. But it does give a pretty detailed account of Fharlanghn as a god. It's it's the Monster Manual approach to deities, where they have hit points and they have an armor class and I'm not a big fan of that, but that's it's what was done at the time, so you live with it. Um, and one of the interesting things here is that Fharlanghn's clerics aren't just clerics of his. It says they first of all they get rid of the urban and pastoral orders, and they kind of just lump them in together. But it says that the clergy bless caravans and sometimes guide them, explore new territories, scout for armies and settlers, and record long travel logs describing journeys beyond the horizon. They also serve as translators and diplomats. Many serve as surveyors or engineers and help build roads, bridges, and ports. Still others are involved in the manufacture of traveling gear, everything from shoes to sailing ships. So it kind of very much broadens the field of activities of Fharlanghn's clerics beyond just being serving as priests, which is an interesting thing. Now he's also covered in the uh, living Greyhawk Gazetteer, but it's relatively brief, as are all of these entries in here. The Dweller on the Horizon, it's pretty much the same. Um, uh, the same material, except this kind of goes back to the gold box where it has the wandering clerics and the settled clerics, instead of the urban and pastoral with the different colors. So it kind of bifurcates them, um, and but it does include the blessing caravans and record lore and places uh, and making shoes and that sort of thing. So it's kind of an amalgam of the earlier two. Um, so obviously from a gaming standpoint, Fharlanghn is a great deity for adventurers. They're even listed as his followers because of all the travel that adventurers tend to do. So you could very easily work that into an adventure. Just going from shrine to shrine, and that kind of leads the PCs where you want them to go. Just a pure expedition of exploration would be very possible. In fact, I'm going to use that hook on a project I'm working on right now. It's all hush hush though, and so it's very much in keeping with the idea that Fharlanghn is, the god of travelers, wanderers, and so forth. Now, in my book, the Greyhawk Cleric's Guide, which is on DM's Guild right now, it's for 5e. It's for the 2024 world. What I tried to do for each one of the deities was include a little snippet of lore. Most of these are stuff that I made up, and I just want to close the video with what I wrote about Fharlanghn. It's presented as sort of a fable of Fharlanghn. Fharlanghn and his brother Celestian were debating whose travels were superior in terms of opening their minds to new things. While Fharlanghn traveled on Earth exclusively, wandering over hills and dales, his brother traveled in the broad skies, exploring the stars and crystal spheres, seeing other worlds, determining the nature of comets and shooting stars, and so forth. Celestian reached up, plucked a comet from the sky, and said, "Obviously, my route is the more wondrous, dear brother. I have seen 1,000,000 worlds in all their glory, counted the passage of their moons, and seen them arrayed in their vast and intricate constellations." Fharlanghn reached down, plucked a single flower, and replied, "I notice the ant that is crawling on this tulip." And that comes from the Wanderer's Tales, which is an in-game thing that I made up. So anyway, I like to put in those little bits of lore to add to the verisimilitude of the lore that's in there. So anyway, hope you like this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you ever done anything with Fharlanghn? I'd love to hear about it. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will talk to you all later. Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.